It is a huge week. 13 years later, and the long-awaited sequel, Avatar: The Way of the Water, premieres in theaters today. Brad Pitt is back on the big screen, and Sarah Polley's new film, Women Talking, is getting so much buzz. So, film critic Rad is here. He's joining us for his thoughts on all of these. These are huge movies.
Very huge movies. Yes. I mean, in different ways.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So let's start with Avatar.
The biggest.
The biggest movie.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest movie back in the day, too.
Exactly.
So we had the cast on yesterday, which was so great to talk to them. And it was interesting to think that one of them was born the same year the first movie came out.
I know, it's incredible. I mean, I think a lot of people are questioning, like, are people still interested in Avatar 13 years later? Like, do you even remember what that movie was about? And I don't think it matters because, like, it's such a big screen vision. And like you said, this is the biggest movie, right? I think this movie cost somewhere between 350 and 400 million. So making it one of the most expensive movies ever, and you see where that money went. You're like, oh, okay, like I could see where that, you know, unlike when you watch the latest Avengers SmackDown, you're just like, oh, no, like that's a movie when you're watching this movie. And it's because James Cameron, you know, when he has a certain hubris when he makes movies, and he always pushes for the most money and the most spectacle, and but you see him pushing the medium forward, right? You see him pushing to give you the thrill of something new. And in this movie, I mean, you saw this as well. And what I did.
What did you think?
I mean, for me, I like this better than the original. Maybe that's not a surprise because James Cameron's typically the king of the sequels, so you know. But also like
so beautiful.
Beautiful, exactly.
Yeah, beautiful.
The second act. I mean, I was more in love with the second act of this movie because it's just watching these characters, these Na'vi characters, connect to nature and go in the underwater scenes. You know, relate with animals. It was like you really feel Cameron's passion for this kind of natural world. And I say natural, fully well knowing this is all artificial digital creations, but it feels like it has more blood and metal in its veins than any of the stuff that we typically get from like our big studio budget movies, right?
Interesting that you say second act because a lot of people are talking about the length of this movie. It's what, 3 hours, 12 minutes around
Something
there?
like that, yeah.
Did you find it was too long?
No, I mean, see, I think typical with any James Cameron movie, the action lasts a little too long. Like he just doesn't know when to stop with the action. Yeah. But I didn't feel it like, I mean, for Avengers movies feel way longer than this.
Yeah, I was not bored at any point during this. And I, like you, during a part of sort of the middle part, when they sort of enter into the water world, I was just amazed at the beauty of it all and the character developments, the fact that Sigourney Weaver was playing a 14-year-old. Like that in and of itself is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and I could just swim in that world and luxuriate.
As soon as they hit that, like you saw the water in the clouds, like, I want to go there.
Exactly.
Like, where's that? It's that kind of feel. Okay, so who is this movie for?
I mean, look, this is for people who love movies like Top Gun Maverick, which I think Top Gun Maverick is a reminder of, they make movies like that. And also Titanic, because, hey, Titanic's 25th anniversary is tomorrow, and it's, I think you when you watch this movie, you see that James Cameron is shouting out his own movie in this movie. Those sequences at the end.
I was going to say, when we walked out of there, a lot of people, I heard the rumblings of everybody being like, did that remind you of Titanic?
Exactly. Right? He's basically patting himself on the back.
Anyway, it's a fantastic movie. I thought it was just incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to Babylon. This is Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie. What is this?
So this is from the director of La La Land, and once again, he's giving you a love letter to Hollywood. This is a movie that is telling you the same story you saw in like Singing in the Rain, and then you saw it retold in The Artist, but this time it's about the bad behavior in Hollywood. So this time there's cocaine hills as high as the Hollywood Hills, basically, right? It's all about the debauchery, and what you're seeing is basically the story of Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt playing actors who are kind of chewed up and spit out after the sound era is introduced, and you're also seeing some of the Hollywood history, like Damien Chazelle throws in like the Fatty Arbuckle scandal where he was like charged with manslaughter. Anna May Wong, how she was treated, how black performers were treated.
Okay, so who's this one for?
I mean, so this is, like, think of this movie as La La Land on coke. Okay, so like basically, it's just in love with the Hollywood, and unfortunately it fails because, so for people who love La La Land artists, it's a fawning vision of Hollywood. It fails ultimately because he's too in love with Hollywood to be really critical of it.
All right, let's talk about this Sarah Polley film, Women Talking, just nominated for 2 Golden Globes. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, look, I mean, Sarah Polley, like, she made this movie about a Mennonite community. It's based on a real, true story that happened in Bolivia. It's based on Miriam Tavy's novel, A Fellow Canadian. It's about women who are basically they're enduring systemic rape from the men in their community, and then you don't see that. You don't see that violence. You see them get together to talk about how they should be moving forward, and so they have conversations about how do you approach justice and how do you approach reconciliation. It's a really hopeful movie. And look, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. Don't take my word for it. I'm biased. Sarah's a friend, and I've been living with this movie forever. But you know what? Just listen to all the people who are calling this one of the best movies of the year. Listen to all the people who are saying like they're absolutely moved by this movie. You know, and what's amazing about this movie is when people are watching this, it's encouraging people at festival screenings and whatnot to just open up about their own stories. Women, there's people making themselves vulnerable and sharing their stories of trauma because this movie kind of opens up conversations like that.
Those doors for
That's what's been incredible about it.
Incredible. All right, Brad, great to see you as always.
Brad.
Thanks. Did I say Brad again?
You said Brad again.
No, it sounded like I did, but I actually didn't. Because I was going to say after the break, man, Brad, good to see you again.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.